Well, hello everybody, and welcome to my show. I'm Tui Snider, and in case you're new around here, I write books, I give talks, and I do a lot of research. It's hard for me to believe that we've actually made it all the way up to episode 14 on these live streams. And as you know, it started off as Tombstone Tuesdays, and now it's evolving into Tui Snider's Offbeat and Overlooked, if you look up there, because there are so many people I want to interview, and they don't all fall under the Tombstone Tuesdays category, but there's fun people, and you guys seem to be enjoying them when I share them with you. Case in point, we had Greg Bishop on April Fool's Day, and it was a very lively show, as you guys know. That one was very free form, and we were all over the place. But Greg is quite well known in UFO circles, but he has a lot of other interests as well, and that was a lot of fun. Let me see who all is here. I see Wade. Hey, Wade did make it back. Whoop whoop. Debbie from Canada. Hi, Debbie. You know what? I'm gonna make you guys all moderators because I just learned how to do that. Yes, I know. I could have like read directions and all that, probably learned this sooner, but that's not how I roll. Hey there. I couldn't land, darn it. My husband, this is Veronica. I'm like, wow, you're a new one. I don't, Veronica down in Florida? No, which Veronica? I don't, oh, Veronica Strick. Derp, derp, derp. Now I know who you are. Hey, Charisse. Hello, Texan. Howdy, howdy. Everybody's saying hello to each other. Okay, I'm going to click over here real quick and just see if I can give y'all moderation privileges, if I could figure this out. Wow. All right, hang on, guys. I know I'm probably staring blankly. This will be quick. If I had a real moderator, I could do this real fast. um, who else have I forgotten? Cherise, I'm going to give you a little wrench. Moderator, Nicole, did I get you one? No. Just a secky wecky. Who else? I know I'm missing some people did I get you one, Debbie? Did I get you? Oh, okay. I just tried to add some moderators there, and I'll go back again later and see, because it doesn't show me now in StreamYard who I've made moderator and who I haven't. But thank you all so much for showing up. Now, it seems like it's been forever. This show on April 1st was my last show. And last Tuesday, I actually had Daniel Allen Jones. Now, I've rescheduled him for the 29th of April. And I've got some other stuff. I will be talking about all sorts of things. He does research into crypto zoology and crypto archaeology and all sorts of offbeat and overlooked things. That's kind of the theme. So now the reason I didn't do a show was I got my second COVID jab, and oh man, oh, that knocked me on my butt. I was just out of it for about 3 days. And then, plus the day that I went to get the shot just took up time. So next thing I knew, the whole week was pretty much gone. And I'm just even more behind. But like I said, I am kind of rebranding, to use the fancy pants terms, just so that I will continue to have some great guests talk about cemetery things. In fact, y'all wanted me to bring Kathy Benjamin back, who did the Funerals to Die For book. And she is going to come back. She has shared with me some glimpses into, she has this amazing funeral ephemera collection. I mean, it's incredible. You guys are going to love it. So I will have her back. We don't have dates down yet, but some people I have coming up. I have Linda Anthony Hill, who has a very haunted house in Gainesville, Texas. Haunted Hill House, essentially. I have a guy from Detroit who goes around. Oh my, I got his book. It's amazing photographic, like coffee table book of gargoyles all over Detroit. And I met him because he read my book about cemetery symbols, and some of that interests overlapped. And then I bought his book, which is amazing. And so he's going to be on the show. I've got also Courtney Maroc from Haunt Jaunts, who is a blast and a half. We're going to talk about mermaids and submerged cemeteries. And I'm sure that will be a few giggles because she just cracks me up. And anyway, I've got a lot of other people who are going to be coming on. Teal Gray will be coming back on to talk about her new book. Maybe 2 books because, she's prolific. Everybody makes me look like a slacker. Ha. Now, the other thing, oh, I see Kenneth's here. Snowy Colorado? What? You've still got the snow going. Oh my goodness. I hope your little moose, your tea time moose is keeping you company. I just love that he sent me a picture of a moose. They amaze me. They're like huge creatures, and I did not know they had them in Colorado. What can I say? Kenneth, I will make you a moderator too if I can find you in here as I stare here and try to find you and try to find the right thing. And if I haven't added you as a moderator, it's just because I'm navigating between two things here and I might have just not seen you. Also, to anyone who is watching the replay, thank you for watching. And I hope you'll remember to subscribe to my channel if you're enjoying it. Give this video a like, because that encourages me, eggs me on. Now, I also have a little something fun to share that happened. Rather than our usual cemetery photo of the week and a book of the week, I wanted to do a little something different because I had a special day. It's a special month for me. This is my husband and I. It's our 10th wedding anniversary. So here I thought I'd show you us 10 years and 20 pounds ago. Here we are. Now, I am a stepmother, not a wicked stepmother. Those are his 2 adult children. They're amazing, and thanks to his daughter there on the right, I am now a grandma too. Woohoo! So, without any of the pain, I just got to marry into this wonderful family. We got married at as you can tell, we're dressed a little non-traditionally. We got married in a Renaissance fair at Waxahachie, Texas, and I totally recommend getting married at a Ren fair, because if you've ever helped someone with their wedding, it's a big mess afterwards. At the Ren fair, we just did it, and then we just walked, got married, and there was like no big cleanup or anything. Here we are with that beautiful cake. They sculpted a dragon for it. I'm dressed as a purple fairy because it was in the 90 degrees, that'd be like, it was like 35 degrees Celsius essentially, which I was melting. I'm still not totally acclimated to this Texas temperatures down here. I'm from fairer climes. Here we are again. Here we can kind of see, I made my little headdress there. I didn't make the dress, but I hot glued all the flowers on it. I was not going to wear any traditional medieval outfit in that weather, so I went for that. And this one, I love this picture because I gave him a really hard time when he was trying to take off my garter. It did tickle, I must say, but I was, giving him quite a hard time. Once again, if you can get married at a Ren fair, I've got to say it's the way to go. And the Scarborough Ren Fair here in Texas is really a special place. And also you have a built-in party every year. Of course, with COVID, we didn't do that, but next year. So there you go. Now, our sponsor for this show, I thought I should do kind of a movie-themed sponsor since we're going to be talking about cemeteries in film. And I'll tell you our sponsor in just a second. I see someone here. Hello from Washington, D.C. Just subscribe. Well, hi. Hey, Silver Fox 42. Nice to meet you if I don't already know you. And appreciate you coming today. I hope you enjoy the show. So here we have, I thought this was kind of a fun show sponsor, for us. It would be Night of the Living Dead. This is from the Honolulu Advertiser from 1968. And I like too that looked like a double feature with Gamera the Invincible. I like those old Godzilla movies where they have that Gamera, they're singing all that stuff. Yeah, good stuff. So I thought that fit. Of course, the real sponsors for this show are my wonderful Patreon supporters, and they are Bob, Connie, Ian, Scott, Ghost Cat, Angel, Jessica, Ann, Envy, J, Ken, Patty, Sarah, Julie, Margaret, Hugh, Mikhail, Naomi, Tim, Pete, Sarah, Rachel, and as always, Tui, the other Tui, no relation to me. Happy 10th anniversary. Yeah, and here's the funny thing about a 10th anniversary is that the special gift for it is tin. Who knew? Tin, that's a weird thing. It's not like a golden anniversary, a silver anniversary. It's the tin anniversary. Whoop, whoop, we made it to tin. All right. So thanks to all my Patreon supporters. You guys are amazing. Okay, now, without further ado, let me find my place in my slides and tell you a little more about our wondrous guest. Some of you will remember her. She is back by demand. You guys enjoyed her so much last time she was on. Uh, she is a lot of fun, very knowledgeable, and I'll just tell you, here's her little bio. So, Icy Sedgwick. She writes dark fantasy and gothic horror when she isn't blogging about folklore, mythology, and weird superstitions. As I said, she's very knowledgeable, and make sure you drop by her website, which is just icysedgwick.com. You want to sign up for her newsletter. It's great. She shares lots of things there. She also runs the fabulous Folklore podcast, and you can find that on YouTube as well, as well as other places. And, it's on all different podcast platforms. But since I know a lot of us are on YouTube, that could be a good place to look. You can find her on social media, just at Icy Sedgwick, wherever you want to go. And without further ado, I'm going to bring her in. And in case you didn't know, we're going to be talking about cemeteries in film today. So let me bring Icy into the stream. Hey,
Hi.
Icy. How are you?
I'm all right. Yeah, I'm just thinking like cemeteries in film, and I've been reading the comments going, oh, so many people are excited.
They are. Isn't it nice? And you've got fans in the midst. Read Icy's amazing books. People are, you were very much a favorite around these parts.
Hey.
This neck of the woods is a very strange little neck of the woods in which we inhabit. So you sent me a list of films, and I did my best to find some interesting photos of them. And I guess I could just kick in, and you could start telling us about them if you want. Here is one that you brought up. I have not seen this one. There's so many, and now I want to go see so many. The Frighteners.
I love this film.
I need to see it.
It's so good. It's people forget it's actually directed by Peter Jackson, but like before Lord of the Rings.
I saw that when I looked it up, and I was like, is this the same Peter Jackson? Because it doesn't seem,
Oh, you want to check out the film he did before this, Brain Dead. Very, very different from Lord of the Rings. But this one, because it was produced by Robert Zemeckis, who did Back to the Future, a lot of people assume he directed it as well, but no, it's Peter Jackson. So this is actually the cemetery in Christchurch, but it's pretending to be, I want to say the Pacific Northwest.
Oh, really?
So the whole film is pretending to be in America, but it was actually filmed in Christchurch.
Oh, that's fun.
So the cemetery's got that real sort of almost like English Gothic vibe going on. And it's just, I'd love to see it in person because it's huge as well.
Here's another shots. So I was like, what is going on here? Yeah,
because obviously the whole conceit of the film is, I know you called him Marty McFly, that's terrible. Michael J. Fox's character plays this guy who he essentially is I don't want to say psychic investigator because that's wrong. He's closer to a ghostbuster. So people hire him to come and get rid of ghosts. But the difference is the ghosts are working with him. So they come in and haunt a house as the Frighteners, and then he works with them to move them on. Yeah, it's really funny.
That's a great premise, actually.
And of course, hilarity ensues when the ghost of a serial killer comes back, and then he's actually having to get rid of something that he doesn't work with. And these are all the ghosts who are already in the cemetery, who are basically still knocking about. Some of whom are friendly, some of whom are very much not. As you might have gathered from the previous photo, where there's an army character in there who still seems to think that he's in the army.
The sergeant or whatever he is. I was like, that guy looks like a character. I was knocking him around. Oh, yeah, I'm totally adding this to my list. Has anybody seen this out there watch? I mean, obviously, I'm just wondering if anyone in the audience today has seen it, because that just looks so fun. I like that. I mean, the special effects, this was a 90s film, or when?
I can't remember off the top of my head. 1998 springs to mind, but I could be wrong.
So sometime in the 90s. I mean, it looks fairly sophisticated, the special effects.
And there's a fantastic scene where they're in an exhibition, like a gallery open, in an Egyptian exhibition of antiquities and so on.
Oh, sure,
And so of course the ghosts start interacting with the exhibits, including a mummy in there.
Oh, yeah, that sounds cool. Mummies are always good.
And Jake Busey actually plays the serial killer ghost, and so he's just wildly
Oh yeah,
captivating as always.
he's kind of freaky
And
anyway. I could say.
he really has a lot of fun. And it basically ends up where they get to investigate, like, kind of, he was part of this big mass sort of killing at a sanatorium, I think it is, and he basically wants to continue it. Like, he's killing street because he's trying to top like previous serial killers, so it becomes this weird
He has goals.
competition.
He's
He does,
motivated.
yeah,
He does,
yeah.
you know.
So yeah, it then ends up, but they said the cemetery is quite an important scene, well, not scene, but like setting in the film, because of the fact that yes, it is the same actor from Full Metal Jacket. Someone's just asked the comment there. And he and basically
Oh.
the cemetery is kind of where they find a little bit more information about things, but
Mm-hmm.
it becomes sort of a space of almost like revelation,
Mm.
but not in the way you'd expect. So like there's like a mad FBI character who and I can't remember the actor's name, but he genuinely creeps me out. He's like one of those cult actors who's in these kind of films, and he for some reason has this thing about the cemetery as well. So it's
There are
very
some
cool.
actors that you only ever see them in creepy parts, and you just wonder, like, what are they like in real life? Like, they're dropping their daughter off for preschool or
Yeah.
something, and like, is everyone just all like, it's him? I don't know. You try to imagine these people out of the role. They are so good at it,
Yeah, he's
Oh, here we go.
intense would be the word I would use.
The Frighteners is excellent. A great Halloween film pick, funny and creepy.
Yeah.
According to Wolfman. Yeah, I've never seen it. I think I'm gonna need to. Gosh, here we go. Let's see what this is. R. Lee Ernie, rest in peace. Is that the drill sergeant looking dude? Wade. Well, he'll let us know.
Yeah.
Probably.
I'm terrible with people's names at the moment. Honestly, it's awful.
Well, yeah, sometimes that happens to me with certain files. I seem to have a filing cabinet in my brain, and if I'm not in that file, it can be hard to know. Yes, okay, so
Yeah.
Lee Emery was in both. Oh, thanks, Ken. All right, Ken in Colorado for the win. All right, yeah, can always count on the viewers to have some good comments here for us. I know. Well, I've totally added that. I'm going to see if Netflix has it. Looks like a good one. Now, this one is another one. You love this movie. Once again, I've never seen it, but it has. But this is the one with Caruso in it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I picture him whipping his glasses off and being all. But
Sadly,
probably
no.
not the same. Okay, here we go. Tell us about Section 9.
And Peter Mullen, who is pictured here, and it's just the film's one of those ones where it's a bit of a sleeper in a way. And I watched it years ago with a flatmate of mine, never heard of it or anything, and I was watching, I was like, whoa.
Is it straight horror or is it scary?
I would call it a psychological thriller.
Oh, okay. I like those. I don't like slashers.
Oh, no. Well, kind of there's bits of it in this.
I mean, if I have to look away a little bit, that's okay. But I don't like it when it's constant, like, splatter.
No, you'll be all right with this one. But it was filmed at Danvers State Asylum before it was turned into luxury flats. And it's basically these guys come in as asbestos removal people, experts. And they're trying to, as you might imagine, remove the asbestos. And one of them is the incomparable Josh Lucas, who I love in literally everything. And I mean, I sat through Sweet Home Alabama for him, so that shows how much of a fan I am. And this particular sequence is Session 9 is on Netflix in the UK, but I don't know about the US.
And you know what? I also forgot to ask people if our volume levels are okay, or if Icy, does she have an echo again like last time? She's still across the pond. Let me know, folks, if... So yeah, this is on Netflix or Prime. Well,
it's definitely on the UK Netflix.
Oh, okay, yeah, they vary. And if anybody, one thing I found is that I have Netflix. I still get discs as well as streaming, and there are a lot of times if I can't find something streaming on Netflix, I can get the disc. So if you're able to do that. Oh, all right. People are saying we sound good. Yay,
Cool.
maybe. I'm going to knock on wood because I want to get too cocky because next thing I know, we'll be having the huge echoes. Sounds good. Okay,
Um,
good, good. Yeah, so anyway.
but yeah, so they're removing the asbestos, and then during the process, one of the team discovers a series of tapes from an earlier case, and obviously there's session 1, session 2, and so on, and it's all building up throughout the film till he gets to listen to session 9, and it's about kind of the way that people are haunted by like their past mistakes, and that sounds like a really like the kind of concept. But in this case, it's like they're really haunted by their past
Comes
mistakes.
down to the execution, baby.
Yeah,
Maybe literally and figuratively. Who knows?
and then it was on UK Netflix, Sam. I don't know
Oh,
because I only watched it again a few weeks ago. Um,
oh, Sam
but
can't find it now. Well, they do that to you. They taunt you. They'll have it on there, and you're like, oh, okay, next free day, I'm gonna watch blah blah blah. And then you go on, there like, where'd it go? They do.
I hate when they do that.
Yeah,
But yeah, so this particular scene, he's all those markers behind him are the
yeah. I've got more pictures of it.
they're like headstones for each of the patients, but they only have the numbers of the patients, not their actual names. And obviously then the link this back to like room numbers and so on, it all becomes quite symbolic. But it's just it always sticks in my mind because I remember reading an article by a blogger who actually went and just hung out outside Danvers once it became the luxury flats.
Uh-huh.
And one of the inhabitants actually let them in to then watch session 9 in like their living room. So he
Oh,
was
how
watching,
funny!
and I'm like,
Yeah,
how like that's the kind of thing I would do. But
yeah.
but I think they did obviously move the graveyard. I'm assuming they moved the bodies and not just the headstones. I mean, if anyone's seen Poltergeist, you'll know like that's the thing you need to double check with that one.
I have heard so many stories, and I've come across so many shoddy stories of people like claiming that they've moved the cemetery when all they've done is move the headstones, or very poor record keeping. Yeah, so I don't know. Yeah, here's the picture I found of it. So this is no longer there. You're saying they've moved the headstones and everything.
I can only assume that they've moved them at this point, and I would like to hope that
Mm-hmm.
they've moved the patients as well, because I mean they look
Yeah,
fairly spread out.
yeah, they do.
Yeah, it's bad that you
Interesting.
have to check something like that.
I know it's one of those things that you assume that, oh, probably that would be fine, but no, people are greedy jerks
Mm.
sometimes, and quite often you find a lot of cases like that. I just had someone on Colorado Martini. She the Denver Botanical Gardens and Cheeseman Park are both, there was a real debacle where they were supposed to. Denver, I guess, just decided they wanted to have a park there, and the person they hired to move all the bodies said they were, but they didn't, and so now the gardeners will be out there like, hey, I'm going to plant a new rose here, and thunk, oh,
No.
what's this? And then it's like, alas, poor Yorick, I mean, they're like got another bone in their hands. So yeah, people can be jerks when it comes to moving cemeteries. Now next one we've got The Woman in Black. Now, when I was looking for photos to go along with this, the first thing I ran into, I guess, is a remake starring Harry Potter, haha, Daniel Radcliffe, and I'm like, is that the one she means? Because
Mhm.
oh, it is, because is this the same one?
That's the original TV version one.
Oh, okay.
And this scene is never really in the remake,
Oh, really? Oh,
which is odd. And I mean, I've seen it on stage as well,
oh,
and it's amazing on stage because obviously it helped when I went to see it the second time. There was loads of teenage girls in downstairs, and like literally every time the Woman in Black appears on stage, like they lost it. And it was hilarious because I never jump at things. But I was like, oh, she must be on stage now. It was so funny.
oh, that's great.
Um,
So she really brought, so, here I saw this and I clipped the whole thing. I always like to try and attribute, photos. I loved it how it said, I was cast for my ability to convey malevolence.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, the thing is, it's like obviously in the book, the first place that Arthur sees her is at a funeral, I think, in a
Mm.
graveyard. So she's very, very intrinsically linked very early on with
Ah.
obviously death and so on.
Mm-hmm.
And it's quite a scene that sticks in your mind even when you read the book.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, and they even do the graveyard on stage, surprisingly. Um,
Wow. That's
and
cool.
my favorite part is when the dog gets involved, and there's no dog on stage, but they're talking to one as if there is one,
Oh,
and you start worrying about this invisible dog. It's
you
weird.
know, they've done their job when you're working about an invisible, you're
Yeah.
worried about an invisible dog. I love stage shows. And like how you mentioned how, you know, because having the squealing teenage girls there added an element. That's one of the things I love about live performances is, you know, you're seeing it live and you've got that added element of all the emotions in the audience around you. And it just
Mm.
adds something that you don't get when you're sitting there streaming it on Netflix. Although I
Well,
still stream things.
it was like, Ghost Stories that they did with Martin Freeman. And that came out about 3 years ago, I think.
Oh,
It was
I'll have to
originally a
look.
stage show. Um,
Oh,
and I went to see it on stage after I'd
mhm.
seen the film, and I went with my friend, and like she was practically in my lap most of the time because again I'm sitting there like really impassive, like this is beautiful set design, and like the guy next to us was practically screaming, so it was like everyone's losing it but me.
Oh wow. Well, you know, yeah, you get some vicarious chills there. That is funny. Yeah.
But yeah, the thing I like about The Woman in Black though in the remake is
Hmm.
the cemetery is actually kind of on the island next to
Oh,
the
I don't
house.
think I got any pictures of that one when I was looking. All these kept coming up. This isn't it, is it?
No, I mean it's still atmospheric as anything though.
Ah,
And I think that's it just again basically shows how like desolate this place is. And
yeah, I really
and I
liked
think
this shot. I thought, oh yeah,
yeah,
it just looks. There's a bleakness there.
yeah,
It's sort of appealing,
yeah,
weirdly.
yeah. Oh, it's so goth, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
And but then in the remake though, because obviously I haven't seen the TV version because I got distracted by the stage show. But the whole thing with the cemetery for me is the way that like it's the idea that sort of the woman in black herself is buried there, but the grave's kind of empty because her son isn't with her.
Oh.
But it's a fact because obviously he's out in the marsh,
Mm-hmm.
and there's an awful scene where Daniel Radcliffe goes and fetches him.
Ugh.
And my God, he worked for his money that day, he really did.
He's a
And
hardworking actor. I
yeah, I mean, you were sitting there going, it's Akio, whatever, like, how are you, Harry? Come on.
yeah,
But then you've got to remember it's not the same actor,
yeah,
or it is the same actor, but not the same character. And then even when he returns the body to where it like and basically lays him to rest, it doesn't work. So I quite like that sort of the subversion of the stereotype of kind of um putting people where they're supposed to be, and it still
yeah.
doesn't make any difference.
Which is such a part of folklore,
Mm,
you know, as you mentioned before. It's like, and so much of it is like, okay, to keep them from coming back, we do all these things, even though it's our loved one. We still, oh, if they come back, then it's a scary thing, and so then, you know, and people being buried in different places, different directions, and all that, and so that is interesting. It didn't work
mm.
in this case. That's the extra creep. Well, here someone is sharing. What is this here? Night of the Living. You'll just have to wait and see, Wade. Just have to wait and see. Keep you on your edge of your seat. Session 9 is on a Russ Vid site. Oh, okay. Well, thank you, Ken. I'll have to revisit that link. People, you can check that out. Wow. Well, yes, once again, I don't think I've seen any of these films yet, so, you know, I know what I'm going to be doing here after this. I had a feeling, yeah, when you sent me your list, I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm going to...
I'm such a pain for film recommendations.
Oh, that's good, though. I love that. I love that. Actually, Wolfmutt here, who's in the... Well, was watching earlier. I get a lot of great film recommendations from him. He's the one who told me, you know, What We Do in the Shadows. It's one of the
I
films he
love that
recommended.
film. It's
I
nothing
love
to
it.
do with this topic, but I love it.
I know. I love it too. It's one of those films that was so good that, like, in the middle of it, I already knew I could hardly wait to rewatch this. You know, like, okay, if a movie's good enough to rewatch, then it's truly good. Now, another one on the list, you mentioned Highgate. Of course, Highgate, we've talked about Highgate before, and if anyone doesn't know, because not everyone's in England, but in London, there are these cemeteries, beautiful garden cemeteries. They're known as the Magnificent Seven. One of them is Highgate. And if you only ever get a chance to visit one of them, go to Highgate. If you want to see more about Highgate, I'll put the link in later. So if you're watching this later, you'll be able to find it in descriptions. I did a video about Highgate last year on Towel Day for Douglas Adams' birthday. And I show a bunch of different of the graves there. So you might want to watch that out. But once you have seen what Highgate is like, you'll understand why it's used in so many movies. And so anyway, take it away, Icy. I'm going to bring up a shot here of I've walked here. I know exactly where they are. This is so great.
Highgate is beautiful. There's a Sedgwick in Highgate, and I've no idea if she's related to me or not.
Oh, wow.
And what's really weird, because I've done the tour like more times than you probably should. And because before the pandemic, the only way you could get into the West Cemetery, because this is the West one, and the East Cemetery is the easily. And no, I have not seen Wellington Paranormal. And obviously the West Cemetery is kind of the more cinematic one. And I remember I definitely took a photo of the entire like grave of this Sedgwick who's in there, and I cannot find it anywhere. So it's like,
kind of thing drives me nuts.
Yeah. But I think due to the pandemic, I think it's a little bit more open access now, because it's kind of people are using it like a park again, which is cool. But this bit where the rather delectable Colin Firth is, and it's Ben Barnes with him. It's not the best adaptation of Dorian Gray, but the cemetery sequence is beautiful. And they're in the Circle of Lebanon, which is so named because there used to be a cedar of Lebanon in the middle until they had to cut that down.
I was so sad when I heard that. I got to see it when it was still alive.
Yes, that's what it would look like with the tree.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the fact that all but one of them are
there was
burial
a really
vault.
old cedar there. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Fantastic Beasts. I haven't seen that, but probably.
I've heard that Fantastic Beasts was filmed here. One of our guests, Lauren Rhodes, mentioned it. Like it's a popular place to film.
Yeah, and you can see why, because it's kind of what people imagine London cemeteries look like, and they don't all look like this one.
No, this is perfect.
But I love the fact that in this one they had one vault that they couldn't sell for burials, because by this point cremation had come in, so they just turned it into a columbarium, so it's just full of urns of ashes instead. And I just love that kind of innovation of, well, we can't sell it for this, but we'll just pivot and sell it for this instead.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, that is interesting. I know. I love that. One thing that got me about the Egyptian Avenue that I thought was interesting in this whole area is that they will, on the doors, they will have like the people's name, address, and like what they did for a living, as if they're, it's in the afterworld, but like it talks about them. And then that the door, the keys, the locks to the doors are upside down, because, it's like the upside down. It's just a lot of symbolism, a lot of fun stuff. Oh, here's someone saying it's supposed to be Père Lachaise in the film.
Yeah, Père Lachaise. I mean, I went there in Paris, and it was like 4 hours we spent walking around Père Lachaise.
Oh yeah, I'm sure of it.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously we went to see all the famous people like Edith Piaf and Oscar Wilde, obviously, and Jim Morrison and whatnot. But I think Highgate kind of has something about it. It's smaller for one thing, but it's also it's got some really, really unusual monuments in it as well. Like Nero the Lion, who's just gorgeous. So I think it's one of those kind of cemeteries that once you visited it, it stays with you, but not in a bad way.
It's great. I have so many photos from it. I guess we could just do a whole thing talking about Highgate, because it really is. I mean, I could have put tons in there. I was like, I'll just put a couple from each film, but it really is just. And I will put that link below if anyone wants to see just a taste of it. It's a gorgeous one. Well, I have to see this movie as well.
I'll just that bit maybe.
What's that?
Just that part of the film.
Just that part. It's one of those movies where it's like, just go to the cemetery.
Just the Highgate Cemetery, yeah.
Yeah, I think I was talking with Lauren Rhodes about how when we watch movies, we're the type who, and my husband knows it now. I'm like, what? Pause, back up. I want to see, is this a real cemetery? Is this a fake one? Where is this one? Oh, they're pretending it's a cemetery here, but it's actually a cemetery there, because, so he knows that, we're going to be interrupted for 10 minutes of just minutia, like going back, repeat to that until I'm satisfied. So...
I've just seen Sam's comment there about the catacombs, and if that's the Paris catacombs, I went there as well, obviously, because it's me, and that's my idea of a fun holiday. And I'm
And I
so
loved
glad.
photos. You took such great photos. I should put that link, add that link to this too, because you sent me your Flickr a link, and you had. I was getting really actually off on a bunny trail, just going, oh no, oh crap, I better stay focused. But I was really, your catacomb photos are gorgeous.
It's beautiful, and I'm so glad I went before I saw As Above, So Below, because I think obviously that's set in the catacombs, and
Oh,
that would have really, like, I don't think it would have bothered me. It just would have added, like, because I went through the catacombs by myself, so I think
oh,
um also doing that, having seen the film, I would have been a bit but yeah, no,
what's the
totally
air
totally love the
like down
catacombs.
there? Did it feel stuffy or ancient, the air, or is it pretty fresh?
No, it's fine. I mean, it's
Oh, okay.
cool, and a little bit like feisty, which I suppose you'd expect.
Oh, okay. Because I've been under some churches and their crypts, like some old ones, like the one in Antwerp, I think, and some other ones. And you go down there, and it's not so much claustrophobic as it's just the air feels like no one's breathed it in 500 years. So you feel weird, like, should I even be inhaling this? It's got a strange, like, you almost taste the dirt, as you're
Yeah.
doing it. Oh, yes, we're all jealous of, oops. Yes, so jealous. Yes, we are all jealous over here. I've never been to Père Lachaise or the catacombs. Totally want to go. By yourself, Nicole says. Yeah, you went in there by yourself, huh? You can do that. It's just like you pay
Yeah,
admission, I
yeah,
guess,
yeah.
and you just wander down.
It was just because of the number of stairs that you go down to get in and out again. My parents were just kind of like, yeah, you know what, you can go on your own, and I'm like, that's fine. So I just
Okay.
went through. It was
Oh,
funny,
nice.
there was another woman going through by herself as well. So her and I were like on nodding terms to kind of keep each other in view the
Oh,
whole time, which was
that's
quite
good.
funny.
Your catacomb buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's important to have. Now, I'm so glad you identified this one. Oh, just a second. Let's back up a second, Nicole. I think they wonder if you're getting lost.
No,
Or
you,
there's
you you literally just follow a very specific route through. Because if they just let you wander around, I'd probably still be down there.
Yeah, there'd be more bones than we than
Yeah.
we.
So, because you go through the quarry bit either side, which is quite interesting, because it was a stone that was quarried to build Paris, and then you go
Mhm.
through the bit that's actually got it's the ossuary, and then you sort of come out in a gift shop.
Yeah, I was gonna say exit through the gift shop. Always, they're not gonna they don't care if you get lost. They want to make sure you buy something on the way out. That's the real.
Yeah.
Now we're onto. Sam says, "Let's do a meet in Paris." Yeah,
Yes.
I don't know if
Yes.
I'm invited. I'm just inviting
Of
myself
course you are.
along. So I think we all have to, and we'll do a live show from there. So let's. That would
Be
be.
amazing.
I would love that. Oh, I would totally love that. Always want a buddy when wandering the underground. Yeah, I always take someone with me to cemeteries in general, just because there's so many things, venomous snakes here in Texas. I mean, there's things that can happen. You could just twist your ankle and get stuck there. So, don't want that to happen. Now, backing up, yeah, this one, Brompton, I was so glad you identified this because I love this scene. Here's actually a movie I've seen, Sherlock Holmes. So take it away.
Brompton is another of the Magnificent Seven, along with Highgate. And I actually used to live within walking distance of Brompton, so I had
Oh,
actually been to visit. It's full of grey squirrels, and basically the part that you're looking at now is laid out like an outdoor church. So you sort of walk along the nave.
oh, interesting.
The sort of cloisters down either side are kind of like the aisles, and then you get to
Oh,
I think it's a chapel at the end, which would be the equivalent of the altar. Um,
wow.
and it's really interesting, and it's huge as well. It unfortunately has a few other reputations, shall we say.
Oh, I see.
Um, but the bit that we're looking at is like the famous sort of cemetery.
Yeah. And are these I always wondered when I saw this film, okay, that scene there, here's a better look. Those you can see those sphinx that they have
Mhm.
in there. Are those there or did they add them for the film?
I think they may have added those for the film. They definitely have sphinxes like that in Kensal Rise, which is one of the other magnificent. Because I only went to Brompton a couple of times, so it's possible those ones were added to sort of
Mm-hmm.
flank the entrance to the catacombs. Because at the time I went, you couldn't go in the catacombs in Brompton.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
but if they aren't there, then they've definitely taken inspiration from other cemeteries in the Magnificent Seven. Because Kensal Rise was the first, and there's definitely sphinxes in there.
Oh, all right. And just piece of trivia about Sphinx. When they have breasts, they are Greek, and when they don't, they're Egyptian. Just so you know, little Sphinx trivia. But yeah, so I love the coffin in this. Like,
It's a bit over the top, isn't it?
it is. I mean, wow, you know. But that was this was a good scene. This whole thing. This is very atmospheric. I thought that I enjoyed this movie.
I liked Mark Strong as the villain. I mean, he can be the villain in literally every film, as far as I'm concerned. He's
Yeah.
marvelous.
Oh, yeah. Pure evil, just really comes across, but very interesting. Not just there's something intriguing about him too. Like I have a thing about villains. If they're just bad, okay, big deal. But there has to be that extra factor to make them an intriguing villain, like where you almost care about them in a weird way. It's hard to describe, but yeah, I thought he was a good villain. So yeah, here we go. Good stuff. Here's yes, of course. Now we can see a lot more of what it's like. So there is that big. What I like about this, it's so different than any of the cemeteries I've been to. I've only been to, I think, 3 out of the 4 Magnificent 7, and I have not been to Brompton. And you were saying it has maybe a little bit of an unsavory reputation as well. So is it open to the public?
Mm.
Oh, okay. Just don't go after dark.
Yeah, basically. Because I went in the autumn, so of course, imagine this picture, but just covered in autumn leaves, and it was really
nice.
pretty.
Wow.
And what's really interesting is the number of them where you can see what a person did for a living, like by their headstone, like what's actually on it.
Nice.
So there's like loads of anchors and things like that. So it's really cool.
I like that when they have those occupational symbols on there. Yeah.
Yeah. It is. I mean,
and there's like a big road down the center of it. That's what surprised me about it. I found quite different layout. I didn't realize it was like an outdoor church. Then that sort of makes more sense to me. That's really interesting. Very different.
And it's really cool when you compare it to Highgate, because this one's really open to the sky, like whereas some of the other ones are a bit like Abney Park is just trees galore, and it just feels like a park that has like headstones in it. But Brompton's much more, and it's weird because it always seems to have that strange kind of like late afternoon sunlight, no matter what time of day you go. It's really
interesting.
Odd, definitely recommend
the golden hour perpetually there. How fascinating! Yeah, well, it's totally. Next time I go, I do try to. I'm definitely going to try and get over there. Someone's mentioning Texas has more kinds of poisonous snakes, well, venomous actually, than Australia. Wow, well, crikey. I didn't realize that. Although when I did visit Australia, it seemed like everything there was out to kill you, just as an aside. I mean, I was being so careful looking at my feet, and then they warned me, oh, you got to remember to look up too, because there was something that could fall out of the trees and get you too. I'm like, just give me a break, Australia. Meanwhile, you have New Zealand not that far away, and it's like, oh, everyone goes barefoot and nothing bites you. It's just how interesting and different. Okay. All right, total aside. Let's get back to cemeteries here. The Sound of Music. This one cracked me up on your list. I was like, what? I mean, I have seen that, but I forgot or didn't realize. So please, do tell, do share. Here we are. Woo!
It was so funny. Like, I've actually been to the Mirabelle Gardens in Salzburg, where they filmed like the bit where they're doing the dance routine on the stairs and stuff.
Yeah.
And it was the other day I was watching. I decided to watch Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and then when it finished, The Sound of Music was on TV, so I just left that on.
Okay, good. You have a reason, excuse to be watching it. No, I'm kidding.
Well, the thing is, like, it's one of my mum's favorite films, and I'll watch it because, like, Christopher Plummer, and I'd forgotten the bit at the end. So when they're sort of fleeing to go and like leave Austria, and the place that they choose sanctuary is in like the crypt in the cemetery, and I just thought it was so cool because most of the time when you see cemeteries in film, it's either someone's been buried, so it's a sad scene, or someone's seemingly come back from the dead, so it's not a sad scene, it's a surprising one.
Yeah.
Or it's kind of some sort of memento mori, so it's like that element of the film where it's like, aha, this will be you one day, which is, cheerful thought. But then in The Sound of Music, it's then kind of like, oh yes, we're going to hide in here, we'll be safe. And I really like that sort of
they're getting sanctuary in the cemetery. That's really quite interesting.
And I really like that. And I thought it's because you would where nobody would think to go and look for you in a cemetery, really. I mean, I know Rolf does, but but I just thought it was a really cool. See, and then I was thinking back to like every cemetery I've been in. I was like, which one would I have been able to hide in? And I think the only one is actually the Cemetery Island in Venice.
Oh
the
yeah, I've
Estola
been
de
there.
San Marshal. You could probably hide in there.
Yeah, yeah, I think so. I've
I mean,
been
it's on
to
an island.
some. I've been to some in Florida, believe it or not, where they have such large banyan trees that the center of the banyan tree, you can tell people have had like a cook inside there, and you suddenly realize, whoa, from the outside it just looks like this massive tree. And I realized, wow, you could actually kind of, the weather's mild enough, I think someone's been living here. And then you get a little nervous because I'm like, can my husband, I've wandered way off course. I mean, it's like after that I realized, man, but I've been in several cemeteries there. Speaking of, like, you could just, if I were a kid, I mean, I'd be totally having a clubhouse in some of those banyan trees. So I don't know, but
Someone
getting back
actually
to,
did. There's a cemetery near me where Tolkien's aunt is actually buried,
oh
and
yeah, yeah.
there's this weird. It's like it looks like a vault from the outside, but it's actually hollow. And you can get in if you climb over the side. And apparently, there used to be an old sofa in there, because like the local goths used to hang out there, and I'm just kind of
Oh
like,
yeah.
ew.
Sounds about perfect. Sounds about perfect. Tolkien's aunt's grave, and smoke some clove cigarettes or something. I could see that. I would have done that. Getting back to snakes.
We've
We've
got like
got
one
dueling
in the UK,
conversations.
so
What's that?
we've got like two in the UK.
Oh my goodness. But my stepdaughter sent me a thing saying that there is this unique spider that lives only in crypts in England.
It's in
And
Highgate.
oh, thank you. So that's a real thing?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I don't want to stumble onto those. That is interesting. I was like, okay, good. So you've researched it. I was like, I need to research that, and I keep forgetting it. So I've got lots of homework. I have all these movies to watch, and now I got to look up that Highgate spider, which I wasn't aware of. So, so we have imported snakes. Well, good grief. All right. I mean, I'm not against snakes. I actually like them, but I don't want them to be venomous. Here's another shot. So yeah, this is amazing. I thought this was interesting. This is actually, this cemetery from Sound of Music is one of the oldest cemeteries in the world. I mean, it's in such great shape. It's on TripAdvisor, people. I was surprised. It's like things to do. Sound of Music, and you have such a good point about it not being the typical cemeteries are creepy. And that one thing I love about that. Oops, why do I have that there? Let's just move that away. I really appreciate that you included a non-spooky cemetery because, my husband and I go to cemeteries so often. I enjoy cemeteries so much. I think of them as like, oh, what are we going to do this weekend? Oh, I found this new cemetery. It has a unique thing I want to see. Let's pack a picnic. So in my mind, the associations with cemeteries in general is not creepy. And then when I mention it, of course, Halloween comes around. And that's when people are all like, oh, do you want to be on my blog or my podcast? Because, it's creepy stuff. And I'm like, it is okay if you say so. We'll go that route. But yeah, it just makes me laugh. Oh, here we're seeing more. Now people are going down the spider train. We've got them. What kind of spider? I don't know. We don't know the name.
The next person says what it is.
Oh, they do? Oh, you're ahead of me. Oh, look at this. Metabornetti cave crypt dwelling orb weaving spider. So it's an orb weaver. Wow. How interesting.
This is a cool thing with Highgate. It's actually largely like a bit of an urban nature reserve now.
Yeah.
So like, because I was watching it, it was on like one of our like magazine program things about like nature and the countryside and stuff, and they did it in Highgate Cemetery. So
you
they've
need
got
David Attenborough there next. Then it'll be official.
If only. But it was really cool how they've got these rare spiders. They've obviously got different types of bats, and obviously being a goth, love bats.
Yeah.
Like loads of like
bats.
Yeah, and they've got like foxes and all kinds of stuff live there. So I thought it was really hilarious that what a lot of people are like, it's a cemetery, it's really scary, and the animals are like, there's food here, I don't care.
Oh, exactly. The people they hardly ever come here. It's great,
It's really safe for them. So yeah, I thought that was quite cool.
Yes. I think that's one reason I think of cemeteries. I used to, when I was younger, think, oh, what a waste of land. Now I'm like, yay, they're preserving land and they leave the plants alone. So there's all sorts of, here in America, there are cemeteries that achieve arboretum status, and they have, archival plants. I don't know what the word is, can't think of it, but
I know what you mean.
antique roses, roses like that smell nice, things that are, they become seed banks. So they're actually like living libraries. And now horticulturists are like, oh, there's these rare plants that we thought had, azalea had died out. Oh, but we found it at a cemetery. So now I'm like, they're not so much a waste of land in that regard. It's one of the only times we actually leave things alone as humans and don't muck them up. Now, I had a few additions to your list, and maybe you've seen some of these and maybe you haven't, but we shall see. Maybe some people in the audience. Wade will be happy to know that I added Night of the Living Dead to the list since I found that ad for it. Now, I haven't seen this in forever. I'm trying to remember, are these fast zombies or slow zombies?
No, these are the slow zombies. And that's what makes it so disappointing, because I forgot it. Barbara just screams at them, and I'm just like, I don't know how I would react if I'd never encountered the concept of a zombie before. But yeah, it's just a little bit kind of, nah.
Yeah, I think by the time I did see it, I was kind of like, wow, well, I mean, hard to put me back into the context of the times, and I'm not a real horror fan, but I did feel at some point to see it. Now, slow originals. Aha, yes, Wade's happy. Yes, Wade, it did show. I did have that for you. Did have a little Night of the Living Dead. Now this is actually Evans City Cemetery in Pennsylvania, and it's a very popular spot. I don't know if it's on TripAdvisor, but people do go there and take photos. I think if I took a photo, it'd be this would be a good family reunion photo. I'm thinking kind of a Christmas card thing. You all dressed like zombies and just all be like, take a classic, slow. That would be my family photo. I think a good reunion. So if I'm ever in Pennsylvania, I think we should do that. Now, the other one I have here, another one I have for us, I have a couple. Now, here's a movie I've never seen, but I was surprised when I Googled cemeteries and film, and Pet Sematary came up.
In it.
And he has a cameo. Stephen King has a flippin' cameo as the preacher. I guess given a eulogy. Here we go. This is Mount Hope Cemetery in Maine. There's a zombie walk? What's a zombie walk like? Do they go to bars and like, booze?
I did a zombie walk in London once.
Oh, what was it like?
It was hilarious because we were all dressed up as zombies, and there was a woman having a wedding photo taken in Piccadilly Circus. So she's got a wedding photo where like her and her partner are standing next to the statue of the angel, and then all these zombies piled in around her. It was brilliant.
Oh, how fun! Wow, Warm Bodies actually.
And that is a fantastic film. Very underrated.
Yeah, now I want to see it again. It's been a long time since I saw that. Is good. Actually, that was really a good movie. All right, now I have a funny one. What do I have? So here's Stephen King acting. Looks like he's enjoying himself. What's the next one I have? Oh yeah, Easy Rider.
I've never seen Easy Rider.
Remember, you've seen Who has seen Easy Rider? I love this. Here is Peter Fonda. He's and his buddies have dropped acid, and now they are in a wandering. This is the first time I ever got a glimpse of how cool. Like I saw this when I was a kid, and I didn't know why are they acting so weird. And he's like, woo, they're wearing. Look at the shirts. They were being really. I loved this scene actually. Although the rest of the movie kind of went over my head. I think little kid and. But I wanted to see this. I was like, man, that cemetery. Where is this? This is so cool. Yeah, good old New Orleans. I know. And that now I need to see Easy Rider again just to see the. My husband's gonna be like, why did you get Easy Rider? I think too, Easy Rider is one of those films that's so dated that it's kind of fun to watch. I have a feeling so. But yeah, there's Peter Fonda hugging an angel. Priceless. All right, now is this the last one? Yeah, the last one I have. Here's someone popping in late. Hey, better late than never, but there are replays. There's replays. You can go back through, and I add timestamps tomorrow or the next day. I always go through and I have timestamps and everything. So for people who want to dip through and hit certain things, that's always a nice thing to do. Here's the last one on my list. I had to include Zoolander.
Oh my God, I'd forgotten about
I love this scene.
I love Zoolander so much.
He's like, the girlfriend or the reporter's there. She's like, what are you doing here? And he's like, oh, I'm the Eugooglyzer. I bet you think I'm too stupid to know what a Eugoogly is. And I don't know if
Oh,
anyone has seen Zoolander, but I really love that character, Derek Zoolander. In fact, there's a lot of quotable things in my household from that movie. Water is the essence of wetness is something we say a lot. It's just, yeah, it's a
I like that
staple.
I can't turn left one.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. Now I need to see this again. So basically I'm just people wonder where
Yeah,
I am.
blue
Yeah,
steel.
blue
I
steel.
can't do blue steel.
Oh, my family, a lot of times when we're not acting like zombies, we will all, there are several photos of us attempting blue steel or magnum. And my mom will be like, what are you doing? She will look normal. And the rest of us are doing these horrible duck pout, you know. Oh,
I'm
yeah.
just I just saw Sam's comment as well.
Oh,
My
yeah. Orange mocha frappuccino. Oh, yeah. Because I think he's at he's at
petrol
the,
station, yeah.
well, here he's at the funeral because his of the freak gasoline fire. Was that it that his model friends had? Oh my gosh, yes, it's all coming
No, it was
back.
just a flatmate of mine used to just randomly for no reason yell orange mocha frappuccino time
Oh,
just at people he didn't know, and it was always hilarious.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Once you see it, yes, merman, dad, merman. Yeah, that is. Oh my god, I love that too. Yeah.
It's like the
So
best film.
yeah, I think it is good. And, I had forgotten that there was a cemetery photo in it, so I had to bring that up. And here, this priceless look on her face as he's like, I'm a Eugoogleizer. And she's like, huh? So, yeah, that was fun. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. So we are almost up to the top of the hour. You guys, time flies. Now, if you have questions for Icy, you better get them out there now. I know you don't type as fast as I do probably and you're doing other things. So I'll actually give you a chance to think about a question and not just cut you off as I often do in the past. Once again, if you missed my show with Greg, go back, check it out. Of course, you can check any of my shows out if you go to my website. I have a recap and replay thingamawang link there. You can check that out. But and you know what? I will be my next show. I should let you know too that the next show that I have will be Linda Anthony Hill, who is a writer. Once again, remember we had Mitch Whitington on a while ago from East Texas. He's written a million books, and he also lives in a haunted house where he gives tours. Same thing with Linda. She is a prolific writer, but she doesn't actually live in the haunted house. I think it was so haunted they couldn't handle living there. They tried renting it out, had all sorts of issues. Now they have several rental properties, but this one, we will have her on to talk about it. She will give us the lowdown. So let's go back up and see if anyone has more questions for Icy here. Oh, people are wondering about that Easy Rider St. Louis #1. Yeah, I think that rings a bell too. I actually did look it up and now I've forgotten which one it was. Have either of you seen the Angel of Grief statuary in your travels? The original is Rome. Yes, I have. I should share some pictures of that maybe next time. I've come across that. There are a couple. Now there's one. There are a few statues that get copied a lot, and one is of a angel with really nice angel hair, and the angel's kind of got their hand up like this, which stands for martyrdom because it's kind of like, and you see it, you don't think of it. That's one of those things with hands. That one I've seen in Galveston. I mean, I think the original there is in Rome, and then there's the other one, the Angel of Grief. I wonder if you're thinking of another grieving angel. She's kind of leaning on the headstone, and she's got her head down mourning, and she's got wings. And anyway, I have pictures of those, so that's a good thing for me to bring up. Maybe next week or next time I'm on. Sounds like a fun show. Talking about the one coming up. Yeah, and I have to tell you, my next show is going to be April 22nd. I'm shifting everything to Thursdays, and I'm going to be streaming in a new venue soon too. So, it's not going to be Tombstone Tuesdays anymore. I will still be doing Tombstone-y stuff. So, let's see here. What's this? Glenwood Owen. Oh, they have some. Okay.
I'm pretty sure Highgate's got one as well.
Oh, all right. Yeah, I'm trying to remember. Boy, Highgate. let's all go there. Oh, here, that's a question for you. When's Necromancer Book 3 coming out?
When I finish writing it.
No pressure. When it's good and ready, my gosh.
Oh, yeah, it's a work in progress.
Yeah, that's the way it is. You can't, it's between you and your muse, right? It's a lot of that going. There's one in Brenham somewhere. Oh, okay, we're talking about the grief. Well, this was fun. I hope you guys, there are some movies that, this has inspired us all to just sit back, do some Netflix and chill. No, let's see here. Oh, look at this. This was such a great presentation. I'm going to look at Icy's books. Definitely do go to her website. Oops, I'm slacking on the banners here. I have one for her. Show banners. If I can bring them up. All right. Here we have. There, visit her site. And when you visit her site, you can get her book for free. She has a free book. Also, you want to sign up for her newsletter because she shares incredible information there. And she is really very organized and does a great job with her podcast. Hey, you've got fans. You should check them out, Jared. They're brilliant.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks for coming, Wade. Thank you so much. And I know if there are any, I know there's tons more movies out there, but I like the ones that you chose because they were all really, the Cemetery featured strongly in them, and there was a real variety for why they were in there. So that was a lot of fun. We can see why you're the one getting a PhD. So yes, some good thought behind there. All right, everybody. Well, thank you. I guess everybody's getting ready to go. I really appreciate you coming back to the show, and I would love to have you on again sometime. I know everybody else would. You've always got great things to share with us.
I love the way you call them great things. Everyone else is just like, why are you so weird?
I'm all like, no, totally up my alley. Oh, I always, gosh, there were times, I remember I had this one office job and I was trying so hard to just like be normal. I mean, I knew I wasn't, but I just thought, I just won't bring up anything weird. I thought, and I was thinking, I am so under the radar. I'm blending so well. And then something came up where they were like, you're just so weird out of the way. I'm like, you're calling this weird? This is me on my total normal setting. So at that moment in my life, I'm like, forget it, So here we go. Appreciate your expertise. Yeah, she's got good stuff. And thank you, new subscriber. Everyone, don't forget. What aren't we supposed to forget? I don't know, but don't forget it, okay?
Like, comment, and subscribe.
Oh, that. Yeah, please like, comment, subscribe. Come back. Now, the show is going to shift, and it's going to be every Thursday. And like I said, I have a lot of fun people coming up, gargoyle expert coming up, and all these other things, mermaids and fun stuff. Debbie up in Canada. This was great fun. Have a great day, everyone. Yeah, everybody. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. I don't want to, give a like. People are saying, give us a like. Makes me feel good. All right. Okay, everybody. Take care. We're going to see you again. I'm going to be getting into a new rhythm here with Thursdays. So we got a little bit of a hiatus, and hopefully something will be happening. Oh, here, someone says something's happening here. Word Magic Chat on Twitter tonight, everybody. So that's always good. Folklore Thursday on Twitter is always a fabulous place. I go whenever I just need an escape from the world. Maybe I can't go outside. So yeah, and remember to follow, not stalk, but follow Icy everywhere. And it's nice and easy because she's just Icy Sedgwick. That's where you can find her everywhere. It's nice and logical. Okay, take care, everybody, and gonna see you around the interwebs and hopefully see you at the next show. Bye, all.
Cheerio.